Oh, it's so terrible when you can't remember. Oh, God. So frustrating.
You might be in some of those. You might have a picture in some of those somewhere.
No. Thank goodness. I hate the camera. Awful. No,
Who were some of the other physicians you worked alongside in your practice? Didn't some other doctors come out?
What, in my practice or?
That came to the commission with you? Didn't some come
Well,
with you sometime?
Leonard Gotti, of course,
Yeah, he
helped
came.
a lot. He and I were, he was doing pediatric too.
Right.
So Leonard was there, and then there was a guy who,
Dr. Reichert?
Reichert, and his partner, and they stayed for a
They
long time.
came for a long time to the
Yeah,
commission.
Reichert, he had a commission clinic, he and his partner.
Right, they did come out.
And they had a country clinic, I think, as well. Costigan, Riley, and Coy, of course, was the origin of that group.
I even remember riding with Dr. Gotti to E-Town one time and doing clinic. I went to Elizabethtown with Dr. Gotti a couple times when I first came to work here, and we did a clinic in E-Town.
Yes, well, of course, Rudy's clinic, our roving clinic, was in several different spots. Wasn't always the same.
Right.
Yeah. Trying to.
Do you have anything to add? Like, how has treatments changed? Like when you said kids stayed in the hospital to like now when they go home so quickly for the same type of surgeries, like a hip surgery or.
Well, that's all because of anesthesia. All these new drugs, you just don't. You haven't got the long recovery after surgery. If you go to.
Right.
You know.
And you go to outpatient therapy and.
That's why outpatient surgery, that's the biggest, in surgery, that's really one of the biggest improvements is the anesthesia.
Right. So they could, and the kids that lived there a long time ago when you treated and stayed there for a long time, was it because the medical advances were not as good as they are today?
Most of those kids that stayed there so long, one, of course, they were so severely involved in something like this girl who laid there 7 years, because there was nobody to take care of her at home. So she stayed there. Nowadays, you can't do that.
Right. You have to find.
But anybody who stayed there for a length of time was because their family lived, gosh knows where, down the state.
Right.
And you wanted to keep watching for a while.
You know, my aunt, when I was talking to her, she was a patient. After describing, she said she had what they called Ryeneck or I think it's torticollis.
Yeah.
And they did surgery on that when she was 11. And I was surprised because that's usually a birth thing now. And she lived there for 2 months and was casted afterwards. And I don't know what she had done, but she has a scar on her neck from this. This was in the 1940s, though.
Yeah,
this is before you. She said it was like her sternocleidomastoid was operated on.
Yeah.
Almost like a lengthening, it sounds like.
Yeah, basically what you would do. With lengthen the tendon, just the way that.
And I asked her why they didn't recognize it when she was a newborn, and she doesn't really know.
Neither would I. I don't think I've ever done that.
But she was, she's about 85 now, and she was about 10 or 11 when it happened, when she had the surgery. That's a lot of good information. I mean, a lot, because
Yeah,
we've been looking for stuff from our past where,
those clinics were very good.
right, and most of us didn't work there back then, so we just don't know. We just are trying to find out, since it's our 100-year anniversary, what kind of treatments happened.
And unfortunately, there's nobody older than me. He can give you all that, what happened before then,
Right.
before 68. I mean, I heard stories,
Right.
but,
So you kind of came there in 1968 is when you
I
started there.
basically, I came, I finished my residency at IU, and came down here, worked with Howard Kleinert for a while, and then.
Okay. And now your practice is still going on over there with your name on the building. That's where I go whenever I've gotten an injection in my knee and my.
Yeah, we're still there. Trying to think of it. Trying to think. I went through all sorts of stuff. When I couldn't go to sleep, I just sat there and said, "How am I going to tell these girls?" And the more I thought about it myself, more came back,
Right.
which is amazing. But when you code, you lose.
Right.
What are you gonna do about it?
Well, golly. And 8 broken ribs you've come back from. That's pretty amazing in and of itself.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so what else is going on? How's your daughter? I mean, you said you have, I guess, you have one grown daughter that's.
Oh yeah, she's